You took 12 weeks, legal, protected. You came back to a different role, smaller team, quieter meetings. No one said anything. Nothing needed to be said. The email arrived on week 11. Subject line: organizational restructure. Effective immediately. Your position had been eliminated. A new position had been created. Same salary. Different title. Smaller scope. They called it a lateral move. The org chart called it a demotion. Your bank account couldn't tell the difference. Your career could. You didn't see it coming. You should have. The signs were there. The meetings that got rescheduled without you. The projects that got reassigned while you were on leave. The Slack channels you were quietly removed from. Week 3, week 7, week 10. You weren't there to notice. That was the point. Your replacement wasn't temporary. They were an audition. 12 weeks to prove they could do your job for less money, less pushback, less time off for things like childbirth. They passed. You didn't even know you were being tested. Day 1 back, your desk had been moved. Closer to the bathroom, farther from the windows. Your nameplate was gone. The IT department said it was lost during the move. The new one would arrive in 6 to 8 weeks. It never did. You stopped asking after week 4. The one-on-one with your manager lasted 7 minutes. Welcome back. Glad you're rested. Here's your new scope. Smaller team, fewer reports, strategic pivot. You nodded. You smiled. You didn't cry until you got home. You didn't cry at work until week 3. Your project was given to someone else. The one you'd built for 2 years. The one that got you promoted last time. The one that was going to get you promoted again. It was reassigned in week 8 of your leave. To the person who replaced you, they presented it in week 11. Leadership loved it. Your name wasn't mentioned. Your work was praised. The person who presented it got the promotion you were promised. You got the restructure email. You tried to fight it. You scheduled a meeting with HR. They had documentation. You'd been underperforming. Before the leave. The performance review from 8 months ago. The one that rated you exceeds expectations. They had a different file. Needs improvement. Development areas. Concerns about commitment. All dated 2 weeks after you announced the pregnancy. You didn't remember that review. You were never shown that review. It didn't matter. It was in your file now. The lawyer said you had a case. Probably, maybe. Parental leave discrimination is illegal. Proving it is expensive. The retainer was $8,000. The case could take 3 years. You'd probably win. Probably. You'd definitely spend more on legal fees than you'd recover in damages. You definitely didn't have $8,000. You had a 4-month-old. You had hospital bills. You had a smaller role you couldn't afford to lose. You stayed. You took the smaller team. You took the quieter meetings. You took the desk by the bathroom. You stopped talking about your child at work. You stopped showing pictures. You stopped leaving at 5. You stayed until 6, then 7, then 8, proving something. To someone, maybe yourself. Your performance review came 6 months later. Meets expectations. Improvement noted. You'd worked weekends, missed bedtimes, skipped pediatrician appointments. You got a 2% raise. The person who took your project got 7%. You did the math. You'd need 12 years to catch up. Your child would be in middle school. You'd miss all of it. That was the tax. Not federal. Parental. You started job hunting. Interviews were difficult. You couldn't hide the gap. 12 weeks. They didn't ask why. They knew. The offers came back lower. 20% less than your old role. 30% less than you were worth. The market had decided. You'd taken time off. You were a risk. You were a parent. You were expensive. Not because of salary, because of priorities, because you might take leave again, because you might choose your child over a deadline, because you already had. You took the offer. Smaller company, smaller title. You didn't negotiate. You were grateful someone wanted you at all. You'd been retrained, not by courses, by consequences. You learned to want less, expect less, Ask for less. You learn that leave is legal but loyalty is conditional. That protection is theoretical but punishment is permanent. Your child turned 2. You missed the birthday. Client meeting. Couldn't be rescheduled. You sent cupcakes to daycare. You saw the photos later. Your child smiling, covered in frosting. You cried in the bathroom at work. Again. You stopped counting how many times. It didn't matter. You'd been counted, measured, reduced. The system worked perfectly. You took the leave you were entitled to. You paid for it anyway. Not in policy, in position, in perception, in the math that runs under every return to work plan. 12 weeks away equals 12 months behind. Sometimes more, sometimes forever. They call it the parental leave demotion. HR calls it restructuring. Your career calls it terminal. Your child calls it Tuesday. They don't know what you traded. They won't know until they're older. Until they have children. Until they take leave. Until they learn that protection doesn't mean safety. It just means the punishment has to be quieter. You're still working, still proving, still behind. The desk is still by the bathroom. Your child is in kindergarten now. You've missed most of it. That was always the cost. They just never put it in the job